Hiya folks, it's Kikoskia here, and welcome back to Let's Play Quest for Glory 2 VGA, when we ask the important questions. Like, how do you get down off a saurus? You don't! You get down off a duck! Get it? I love the puns in this game. When last we left off, we threw a lot of rocks, and our stat sheet is rocking some hefty gains from that. Get it? Rocking? Because throwing rocks? And hefty? Because rocks are heavy? I'm never going to stop. We have 200 in throwing, and we've almost maxed out our strength and agility. We're halfway, a little over halfway, to improving our vitality, and we've gained a few other minor attribute and skill increases here and there via combat. Now you may be wondering, Kiko, why did you rush to get 200 throwing? I know there's a lot of attribute gains from it, but surely 200 throwing has an incredibly important use in Quest for Glory 2. And I'm glad you asked, because it does. It means that we have 200 skill when we get into Quest for Glory 3. That's right, as far as I know, I am not going to be using throwing in this game. But I might be surprised in how I can utilize this ability, you never know. There could be a use case for it. But as far as I know, there isn't. And now, we're going to go and release our saurus from the pen and hop a ride. Fortunately, buying the saurus means we're immediately skilled in riding it. We're going to go and find the Dervish. And I've looked on a map for the Dervish. There are not many locations in the desert that you'd want to visit, and we want to go this way, 3 screens. And I bet we immediately bump into a scorpion. Oh look, there's a thing here. The dry heat of the desert seems to have stunted the plant's growth. A vast mountain range forms an impassable barrier to the north. The rock looks, predictably, much like any other desert rock. The waves of desert dunes roll towards the mountains, and we ride towards the Dervish. The Dervish is someone we want to talk to. We also want to get a bit of their beard. We also want to do something on the screen with the Dervish. So, first screen. Second screen, we will automatically move. Oh, combat! It's a bandit! Let's have at thee with you. There's only one. We should be okay. I mean, we have a shield. What chance do you have? I fought a ghoul. Have at thee! Ooh, you're pretty fast on the swing, but I was faster. Okay, I'm obliterating you. You are not very tough. You're trying. Oh, you did dodge. Oh, and you can parry. Oh, you are trying. Oh, careful. But I can time that stab quite well there. Oh. Nice parry. Oh, but I managed to parry. Come on, have at thee. Oh, you got me. Well played. Not there, though. Ooh, gotcha. One brigand, not much of a problem. I will probably fight more than one brigand in the future. Oh, nice dodge. But you moved into the return swing. And aha! You were going for another swing there, weren't you? Oh, got hit there. That's fine. Oh, that's less fine. Time as well. And time the stab for the victory. You have triumphed gloriously over the brigand. Victory! You should not have fought against Derek. Alright, let us grab this. 7 dinars and 50 17s in the brigand's body. Let's have a look at you. The brigand just learned the consequences of picking on a victim tougher than himself. That they did. Also, we gained some points for winning that battle. Little worried about the fact that we don't have our saurus anymore. But maybe if we go up, our saurus will come back? Buddy? There you are! Hey! Thanks! Are great to see you! I was a little worried that you'd ran off permanently, but you are incredibly loyal. So now, we just need to head down. And let the game guide us down, and later, as the perspective shifts, up. And this will bring us to the Dervish. He who turns to run away sometimes finds knife in back. That they do. Let us dismount. And you're going to go and... you're going to go and drink the water. That makes sense. Let's have a look around. It's very wet. That it is. They're very sturdy. That they are. This guy looks like he's been in the desert too long. Just might have been. Rocks of various sizes are scattered throughout the desert. Oh, don't mind me. I was just raising my throwing skill. As well you should, Dervish. As well you should. First thing I should do, grab some hair. If you'll let me. You take a small piece of a dervish's beard and put it carefully away. Hero business like eating peanuts. I suppose. In your pack is a whirl of the desert dervish's beard. The weight of the piece of beard is 4 quarks. Let us have a conversation with you. We got points for that, by the way. See what you have to say. What advice you have to give me. What is your name? Wise man learn much by saying little. There's some logic to that. Compass is like desert Bedouin. Both bear news from all directions. Kind of true. Let's talk about peanuts. Once you start, it's very hard to stop. I mean, for you, yes. For me, I'm not a big fan of peanuts. What about rumors? 3 men can keep secret if 2 are dead. True. What about your beard? Difference between beard and world is one whirls around tree, the other twirls around me. What about Shapir? Land of Shapir like rainbow, very colourful and always something new. Let's talk about the Kata. Kata like Dervish, content to sit in sun and think. Hopefully you have enough shade there. Heat stroke is really dangerous. Found him? Where all men share, no man thirsts. True. Adventurer's Guild. Adventurer is one who has no home, but is never homeless. Has no help, but is never helpless. True. What about Aziza? One who watches world whirl by sees many things. That they do. What about Dinazad? A trader knows the value of a coin. True. All that glitters is not gold. Not all that is gold is for the taking. Also true. What about the astrologer? Man who seeks future in stars finds business looking up. Correct. What about the palace? Beggar in street happier than prisoner in palace. Probably. What about the sultan? A ruler who knows his people as his own hand. Everyone has said that the sultan of Shapir is wise. What about the desert? A wise man can survive where a fool will perish. What about this oasis? Oasis is like wise saying, because both seem shallow, but are very deep. Very wise. And the monsters? Monster is as monster does. You're gonna tell me information, are you? Jackal man is like sardines. Always goes in packs. We learned that. Brigands. Man who steals purse gets trashed. And he was. Scorpions. Man who jokes with scorpion gets it in the end. We did in an alternate timeline. What about the pterosaurus? Pterosaurus is like man in desert. Very fond of lesser sauruses. And the ghoul. Ghouls give fighter the cold shoulder. Yeah, I think we'd probably have a better chance against the ghoul if we weren't a fighter, but we are. What about Razir? When laws made without justice, men live without freedom. Freedom like temper, only valued when lost. That is very true. So there's nothing else that we can talk to you about, but you know what we can do here? You see that tree? We're gonna climb that tree! It's one of the few places in the game where you can climb stuff because there's a tree. You see dune upon dune, stretching in all directions as far as the eye can see. That is not a very graceful climb animation. We did improve our weapon use, by the way, by a few points, which is nice. So, we are 144 stamina, and if we climb the tree again, we get to 142 stamina. So it's 2 stamina per climb. But there is a reason why I'm climbing this tree constantly, and those that have watched Ian Spielberg know exactly what this reason is. The saurus is just going to stand there and watch. The dervish is going to sit there and watch as we climb a tree repeatedly. For no gains, it would seem. But we are making gains. Slowly but surely, we are improving. What are we improving, I hear you ask? Well, it's climbing. This is how we are going to be improving our climbing, folks. We're going to be improving it by climbing this tree. I believe there's only one other place in the game where we can improve our climbing. And that is well below our skill level. So we've done a lot of climbing here. We've gained 6 points in climbing, however. Already we have level 106. We want to get to 200 climbing. Yep, we want to get to 200. We have a long way to go, and this is why I have all of those pills. I believe as well this is a safe location where you can drink the water freely. We should fill our water skin before we leave, and where you can rest. Because there's music here. Don't quote me on that, though. There's also what looks like reeds here. Let's look at these reeds. It's very happy in the water. That it is. How's our climbing now? Level 108. Look at us go! Climbing this tree! Now, climbing is an incredibly useful skill, whereas throwing really only helps us in pelting rocks and the occasional dagger. Climbing allows you to get to all kinds of places that you wouldn't normally have access to. Climbing is more typically a roguish skill in this game, but I decided to give myself climbing in Character Generation in Quest for Glory 1 because I concluded that it's basically a martial skill. It's very strength and vitality orientated, and I think in later games it actually is shifted over to be a fighter skill. That said, you can just give yourself any skill you like in Quest for Glory 1. You could learn to do everything. And if you do want to learn to do everything, it's best to start from the very first game, so you can get that knowledge base without having a time limit. That said as well, you can quite easily get everything you want done in this game, so long as you vaguely know what you're doing. Do I know what I'm doing? Well, I know I'm climbing this tree. And it's a fine thing to do, climbing this tree. We'll be climbing this tree until about sunset, because we want to make sure that we're in the Catter's Tail Inn. Not only to see Shima dance, but also so that we can get an item that will be very useful for us. Be very useful indeed. I like that slowly I'm improving my fighting. I think fighting is going to be that skill set that will be the last to maximize. We might not even get to maximum. We might get too close to maximum. But I will try my best to maximize everything that is useful for Derek. Do need to be mindful as to how our stamina is doing. It's at 60, but we have 112 in climbing already. 112. How's the time doing? It's still midday. The day is young. The day is young. And so is Derek. Full of vitality. Full of daring do. Full of climbing. Whyming. That... I don't know what whyming is. But it's what we're doing! It's a good thing we're not climbing the tree with a dervish beard on it, by the way. I think handing over that, we're getting a lot of money from handing over that bit of dervish beard. Enough to pay for some health potions, some health pills, and some vitality pills, maybe. I say vitality pills, they're stamina pills, but it's basically the same thing. What I am surprised about is that none of our other stats are improving while we're doing this. We might have to have a very small third throwing montage so that we can improve our strength and agility up to 200. That said, fighting probably does that. Still dunes up there? Oh yes, there's still dunes up there. 115! We are nearly 20% of the way there, and we've only been climbing for a couple of minutes. This skill is a lot easier to raise in this game if you have 100 climbing. If you don't, oh boy! The other way that you learn to climb is much slower. And I imagine if you don't have high climbing when you try to climb this tree, you just fall on your butt. The saurus has now gone beyond being curious about what we're doing, and is just looking at the sands themselves. I know the dervish is just thinking. That's what dervishes do. We are at 118 climbing. So much climbing! But we do need to head back into Shapir when it gets to a late hour. And then, once we've done the things we need to do there, we're probably just going to head back out. Because we could climb all night! As long as we don't encounter a scorpion. We really don't want to encounter a scorpion. So how's our stamina now? It's at 5, and we're at 119 climbing. Well, let's make sure we pick the right pills. These are the stamina pills. How is this? Mostly full. Excellent. Let us take one. Excellent. Now we are at full, and now we can climb! So much climbing. Nothing's going to happen in Shapir, plot-wise, for a good few days yet. We have a lot of time to make sure we are prepared for the awfulness that is coming. For there is awfulness that is most certainly coming. Oh, things are going to get really bad in Shapir. We have to be the most capable Derek we can possibly be so that we can save this place. And hopefully Brazier. I get the feeling, due to all of the not-so-subtle prodding, that we're on our way to Brazier at some point. At least climbing this tree has music. Throwing the rocks did not have music, and I know I probably could have come to this screen and thrown the rocks here, but I wanted to throw rocks within the relative safety of the overlook of Shapir. I didn't want to have to run all the way back through the desert and put myself in terrible, terrible peril doing so. I was not ready for the possibility of fighting scorpions. I'm still not ready for the possibility of fighting scorpions. And I've no way of knowing whether I'm ready to fight a saurus. The pterosaurs sound very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Bandits and brigands, yeah, we can take them on. Jackalmen, we can take them on. Ghouls? Sort of. They're tough, but you get a lot of money for defeating them. 30 dinars each. There is a limit, however, to how much money you can get from the apothecary. Because they will eventually stop taking the claws. But there is a way, as far as I know, to sort of cheese that. If you're careful with amassing claws. So we'll just keep climbing this tree. You sure you need that good of a view? Climbing tree is like sifting sand in the desert. Arduous, but ultimately pointless. We'll see about that, Dervish. I'm gaining mad stat improvements. Specifically in climbing. I don't actually think we've gained a single point in anything else. I'm wrong! We actually have 200 in strength now! We have maxed out our strength, and we are improving our vitality. We're not improving our agility, though. Agility is not going up. So we might have to do something else to improve our agility, but we have maxed out our strength. We are as strong as we will be outside of some magical boon that we might get, or special weapons that make us extra super strong. We are mighty, and soon we will be hardy as well. This could actually max out our vitality. And then we can max out our agility via means of a little bit more rock throwing. And then all we need to do is improve our luck. Just think, once we've done climbing and all those attributes, it's just combat. That's all we need to do to improve ourselves. Just fight things. And we might do that using Uhura for some of them, like dodging and parry. Weapon use, we can just fight things though. That's the one that we'll probably raise first to 200. Now I think outrunning an enemy just involves getting far enough away screens-wise. And you won't do that by just walking, you have to run. And we're very good at running. I mean, we have 200 strength and 195 agility, we are amazing at running. I didn't even notice that my strength was going up. It made sense that our strength would go up by climbing. How are we doing? 128? Marvellous! Let's do some more climbing! This is when at some point we have to do like a third rock throwing montage. My hope is that I don't need to do any more rock throwing to improve our vitality to 200. Hopefully climbing will get us a long way there. A long way there. How is the time of day? It's still midday. Time moves really, really slowly, and I'm really glad for that. I really do think that it was only moving quickly in the first playthrough because I was doing a lot of resting, rather than drinking potions that improve my stamina. Again, I didn't have a lot of money. I couldn't just buy loads and loads of stamina potions. Buy loads of pills here, though. Climbing! I'm very glad that our clothes don't get scuffed and scratched and destroyed by us climbing constantly, because this would be definitely arduous on our clothes. Shoes especially. I'm so glad we're wearing good shoes. They don't seem like they're decent for climbing, but obviously I'm wrong, because we're doing fantastically. Absolutely flawless climbing here. Anything improved? No, our vitality has not improved, but 129 climbing. 129 climbing. We are nearly a third of the way there. And we haven't been climbing for that long. Haven't been climbing for that long. Let's keep going. The day is young. The day is young. I'd like to get a third of the way there in this video. I'd like to get there. The only downside of climbing is the animation takes longer than the rock throwing one does. Are we a third of the way there now? We are almost a third of the way there. Almost. Just a couple more climbs and we'll be good. Also, don't pay any heed to the face on that loading icon, or the "you're busy, you can't click on anything" icon. It's fine. Everything's good. They're definitely not a villain. They might be a villain. But it's fine. We'll deal with them. Hopefully. Maybe. How is our stamina? 26. Well, more climbing. More climbing. Okay. And a little more. And a little more. We want to make sure we don't entirely exhaust our stamina. We're going to need that health. Just in case we come across something nasty. 135 climbing though. We are past the 1/3 point. We have only 65 points left to gain before we have maxed out climbing. Climb, Derek, climb! And now we are at 12 stamina. Is it like 2.5 stamina we consume per climb? I don't know, but I'll climb 3 more times and see if the game tells me I'm literally slaying myself by climbing this tree. 6. If I climb 1 more time, if I climb twice more, we should be at the user pill point. There we go. 2 more climbs brings me up to 2 stamina and 135 climbing. Well, we'll do that. And when we come back, folks, it is still midday, and our climbing adventures have only just begun. Will we ever need this Dervish beard for a puzzle? Possibly. Might have to go get some more. Might also have to go get some rocks and put them in our chest in our room, because you never know when you might need rocks. And when we return, there'll be a lot more climbing. We need to do a lot more climbing. We need to get as close as we can today to maximum climbing. The sooner we get to that, the sooner we can focus on combat exclusively and do what Derek does best: slay things. Also, max load 8,400. Pretty impressive. Very impressive. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not. And if you are subscribed, press that bell for those notifications. And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.